In Desperate Times news, submitted by Morning Coffee.
I love my morning coffee.
A new high school is being architecturally designed to reduce casualties in a mass shooting.
Oh, how wonderful!
How wonderful, but how sad it's come to this.
Wait, if all the kids are briefed on where the bunkers are, wouldn't the mass shooters just go there?
How do you know there's bunkers?
Oh, I don't know. You're right.
What?
Check.
I love how you have to like fix your books in front of you.
I need to study more.
This is really fitting for this topic.
I can't even see her.
She's a nerd.
I look really hot, don't worry.
Not from over here, but I guess I'll take your word for it.
Do you guys get sad when you go to a bank and they have those
The bulletproof thing.
glass?
I don't get sad, I get scared.
Why?
Because you're not
I used
behind
to work
it.
in that. Yeah, it's scary.
Don't you also think like, oh shit, I live in a bad enough neighborhood that they have to have these?
Yeah.
Whenever I go to a fried chicken restaurant and they have that, I'm like, the chicken here is gonna be good.
It has to be authentic.
When there's a crackhead inside of the restaurant and you're eating and you're like, this is gonna be good chicken.
I get sad when I read about this stuff and when I read about how bulletproof backpacks are a hot seller for back to school.
How much is that?
How heavy is that?
I kinda get excited. I want a bulletproof
Oh,
backpack.
sure.
But I'm like, we don't need this. We shouldn't need this.
I want one.
Imagine it's just the coffee though. It's not even like, it's just an advertisement for bulletproof coffee.
Oh,
Oh, because you heard the
company
submitted by.
bulletproof.
Because that's what I thought of when she said bulletproof backpacks. I was like, oh, the coffee. Oh, not the coffee. No, it's not the
Why
coffee.
don't we, take
Are you talking
away
about
the
Black
gun?
Rifle?
No, bulletproof coffee. It's the one with that. They mix the butter in there.
Oh, the keto one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
heard of
honestly
that
didn't
too.
even know what you were talking about. I'm like, it must be a coffee
It's like
brand.
really intense coffee.
It's like the people that started
They have a
it.
certain
yeah.
way of making it.
They do it with the butter. And
Is it good? Is it gross?
I haven't tried it
Oh.
because I don't eat butter.
I heard it's good though. If you're really into coffee, you should try it.
What were you gonna say?
Human. Oh, I was gonna say, why don't we maybe take away the guns instead of make everything else bulletproof or gun
This is
resistant?
America.
The Canadian has spoken.
Hey, look at here, Canadian. You stay away from our laws. God damn it.
You're trying to take our guns.
I respect the right.
Don't back down. No, tell them.
No, I respect the right, but in a reasonable manner. Not like we need more guns than people.
No. It's like so it's like, man, the conversation will be like a 4-hour discussion.
Yeah.
It's very extended because first you have to start off like with that topic because I own a lot of guns, but I'm also for giving all my guns up if that's what the country wants, right? And I think it's the betterment for the country. I'm just interested in marksmanship and shooting, which I can replace with bow and arrows or even throwing a spear or even axe throwing or something like that. Like I just like aiming and shooting things. But the gun
Non-living things.
yeah, but the gun conversation,
whatever.
it's like if people I think are choosing solutions even before figuring out what the problem is. So if the problem is unwanted deaths, then let's look at all the unwanted deaths, which ones are the highest, and when you look at the top even 50, guns don't even make it on the top 50th place.
Opioids, car accidents,
so I'm
heart attacks.
So yeah, for me, I'm like, okay, what's the real problem? And pick a solution to fix the problem. But most of the gun arguments that I've read are all they're finding a solution that doesn't correlate with the actual
But
problem.
it's because you're too logical about it, and also it's difficult for countries outside of America to understand the gun culture in general because they weren't born with that, right? So it's inherently American as well. If you are American, then you believe that owning a gun and being armed also keeps the government in check. So
That's how we got away from the motherland.
yeah, so there's a whole camp, of philosophy behind that as well. That maybe Canadians and other like Australians and other countries they just don't get it because they're like,
I feel
well, we
like
can
the,
still
the counter is that it's not just about unwanted deaths. It's like this specific type of death in comparison to the amount of deaths from mass shootings in like any other country is just so wildly out of proportion. That's why people are like so focused on this.
But what the problem is in the other countries that don't have guns, they still have gun violence deaths. So it doesn't. It's like it's proven not to work because criminals will get their hands on guns no matter what country they're in.
But is it?
That's the problem.
Is it as prevalent as like every week we have a different mass shooting in those other countries?
If you really look at the stats and not just because like media companies would look at, okay, these are my thousands of headlines, which ones do I focus on? And if you really look at the thousands of headlines, it's pretty equatable.
Like what's
I think it's percentage by population as well, because if you're looking at countries that are smaller and they're like the size of our state, of course the frequency is going to be much, much lower. Yeah.
I wonder, okay. So here, I will tell you about this school. This is in Michigan.
But it's a sad thing, though. I agree. It's like
It fucking sucks.
It shouldn't be something.
Whether
Or
it's
not.
like better gun control or like better even mental health regulations or whatever.
That's what
Yeah,
I really
there's gotta
think.
be
The mental
something.
health regulations.
help the amount of mass shootings.
Yeah.
It just sucks that we've gotten to a point where it's like I feel like this doesn't address the main issue. It creates like measures around it to lessen the blow per se.
Yeah.
Or the byproduct. But yeah.
Because the one thing all the shooters have in common is the mental health issues.
One thing that they have in common is they all look the same. They all have the square glasses. They all look like.
We stopped selling square glasses. No more mass shootings.
Yeah.
You're wearing square glasses.
Uh-oh, so are you.
But I don't look
Oh,
like
shit.
that.
Mine are stop signs.
No, they're doing the thin ones, the thin square ones.
Oh, okay, Steve glasses.
Oh.
No, like they're like the no frame thin ones that a lot of the nerds enjoy wearing. And then they all look the same, like exactly the same. Like they look like they come from the same gene pool.
So this high school here, this is in Michigan, and they are having this crazy huge construction project. It's a $48 million project
Ay,
for
ay, ay.
one
Yeah.
school. Yeah, for one school where they are adding curved hallways to reduce the gunman's range.
Oh my.
It's all like this, so they can't shoot down the hall.
So it's like based on the zigzag patterns of World War One,
Wow.
but it's not in zigzag, it's curved. So I'll show you a video.
Come to this school, there'll be no shootings.
But it's the same type of geometry.
Yeah, so here we go.
Wow.
Superintendent Bob Schmoniak says by reducing the sight lines, anyone with malicious intent will never be able to see the entire length of the hallway.
Then we also built these cement blocks.
Oh, okay.
It also gives an opportunity for students to hide back behind
so
and
sad.
hopefully get help from
Yeah.
within the classroom.
Shit.
And then within the classroom, we could take about 40 students and put them back in that corner, and a person in the hallway wouldn't be able to tell that there was anybody in this room. Access
Morbid,
control
man.
locks on all of the doors in our school district.
That will allow school leaders to lock down the entire district with the push of one button. And on classroom windows,
Put impact-resistant film.
That's pretty tight, though. I mean, it's a sad state,
That's what it looks
but
like.
they're.
So the windows are bulletproof?
No.
It looks like an airport.
But it's
It
tight.
said they're putting some sort of film. I don't know.
I think
Shatter-resistant film or something?
the desire to actually have a solution is kind of cool.
It's cool,
just
yeah.
it's just a sad
Yeah.
like reaction. Like we have to do this.
And that it costs $48 million. So how are the schools that have like
Exactly.
lower budgets?
yeah.
Like how would they ever get any of that protection?
So this is what they
But they've
meant
been having
by
school
having the students hide. So, like this is the shooter's sight line. So you could have kids hiding in this corner here, and they wouldn't be able to see. They're also gonna have the main office of the school be in the center where they can see. It's kind of like prison. They called it a particular. There's a word.
Oh, I'm like, they called it prison?
Are they gonna have those
guard tower?
security
Something like that.
metal detectors?
Not that I know of.
Damn, this is crazy.
But yeah, so now schools are adapting to this.
Because don't a lot of Los Angeles schools have the metal detectors? No, I heard about
I
that.
haven't seen.
I haven't seen them either, but I've heard about.
I think that's pretty good. I don't know
I
if
mean-
anything triggers it, but
Yeah, I don't know. My school didn't have it, so I don't know.
We had frequent like bomb threats and riots and fights and
Damn, I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
Just other fights, but I think that's normal.
There was a drive-by at my school, but it was before I got to high school. I was in like elementary.
yeah. Before we started the high school, like when I moved out here too, there was they used to have open lunch, and then there was a lot of gangs during that time, and then people would drive by and shoot at the rivals during lunch when they get out of high school. Like, so I think this is why it's not that crazy to me, is because I think the whole gang world and all that was very similar to just, oh yeah, it's happening, there's a shooting going on, right? So then to me this is just a little bit of an upgrade to that, but I can kind of see like that's not normal.
It's an upgrade to that, but I think what makes me feel sad is no one's addressing the real issue, which is the mental health thing. Because it's like, okay, cool, like you have a curved building and it really helps out the kids. But if someone's crazy, and even if you take away the guns, they'll just find another way. So there's like in Japan, they had a crazy guy with mass stabbing. He brought a sword out and started slicing people.
He had 2 swords.
He had 2 swords to slice people, or you can just get in a car and start trying to run people over. Like there's just
They did that in France.
Yeah, it's never the weapon. So if they keep going, oh, let's ban knives, let's ban cars, let's ban guns. It's like they're just banning all the things, but they're leaving the people that need help out and about. Like they can make fake bombs, they can still throw like homemade explosives. There's just so many other things, but you got to treat the people that have problems.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't address the root issue at all.
Because you're gonna end up having a building with the craziest shape, and the crazy guy is still gonna find a new way to infiltrate
Yeah,
because
because
he's
what's
crazy.
weird is that guns have always been in this country, but this is a new phenomenon, and meaning that there was always shootings, like mass shootings, like it's happened in the past, right? But now it's actually the laws on guns are even more strict than they were before. Like, you know, talk about the 70s or 80s even, like people were able to mail order guns to their home from a catalog without any ID check or anything like that. There were open carry laws where people would just walk around with their rifles and all that stuff. So it was just more out in the open.
Do you guys know
but we
what the
weren't
process
having
is like now? Maybe you would.
Every single state is different.
I was gonna say though, it's not that hopeless that, like, you know, you're saying that they're not necessarily focusing and zoning in on the mental health issue, because we have progressed a lot as a society when it comes to mental health, and now we're so open and talking about it, and it doesn't have the same stigma. And in schools, they started these programs where they're really practicing mindfulness and teaching the kids how to deal with their emotions and how to like reach out.
That's really helpful.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
really
not
good.
completely hopeless like that we have to resort to this shit, but like there are other avenues that people are trying to explore. And
But all fronts are nice. Like even with like the process of getting guns, like what I'm super open to is the people's access to guns. So if you can make it where even if you have a single parking ticket, or make it extremely hard for people with a mental with any type of mental illness history, then you can't get it. I think
That's
that
what
would
I
be cool
agree
too.
with.
Yeah, like anything that to help to separate the criminal from to access to a car or homemade explosives or guns. Like someone to remove this factor, but removing the physical like thing with no emotion. That's I don't know if that's.
But I think that ends up falling similar into what you're saying, that no matter what, they're gonna get their hands on it anyway.
But also, like, there's
Right?
a big difference
right now it's
between like
easier.
how much you can kill with a knife versus like a gun. You know, I think it's still like worthwhile to look at.
Yeah. Or a homemade explosive.
They changed the law to 21 now for rifle and pistol here. I think it went into effect this year. So it used to be 18 for rifle, 21 for handgun in California.
Yeah, but that still doesn't address the mental health thing.
It doesn't.
It's just an arbitrary number.
But my point is that the laws are changing.
Yeah.